The land is often looking at the sea, like a promise. Men living on the shores are often attracted to the endless expanse of water that frees us. During this trip in Asia, the sea often turns out to be a way for the weakest to influence destiny. In India, it allows the Malayalis to drag themselves out of a life of misery. In Timor, the sea helps women to emancipate by becoming divers and thus earning the men's respect. At last, in Indonesia, on the island of Sumatra, it gives Badajos the freedom to live independently. For the Malayalis living on the coast in the south of India, there is no border between the land and the sea. To the west, the Indian Ocean. To the east, lakes and lagoons, a scenery where fresh water and seawater blend together, following currents and tides, where everyone's life is closely related to a boat. The one used to fish, to carry livestock and goods, to display one's strength and courage.
At sea, we always catch big fishes, but it's very dangerous. To tell the truth, the ocean scares me. I prefer fishing in the lagoon. It's more difficult to catch fishes, but that's where I was born, and I know the best spots. We should get going. It'll take at least 3 hours before reaching my home.
Belloi lives in the backwaters, a grid of lagoons and natural lakes that spans over 1,800 kilometers from the north to the south of Kerala. It's protected from the ocean by a string of dunes. In order to move around these lands located under the sea level, the Malayali use a vast network of canals, both natural and man-made.
In this region, surrounded by water, we couldn't live without a boat. This pirogue allows us to do everything. Fishing, carrying people, all the fish when we go to the market to sell it. We make a living thanks to it. Ketuvallams have been a part of our life since water has been surrounding us.
As the centuries went by, the Malayali rearranged the backwaters. Thanks to a network of canals and dikes, they managed to dry out thousands of hectares of land located under the sea level. They grow rice on these plots and set up their homes on higher islets to be sheltered from the floods during the monsoon.
This is my house. All this water surrounding my house, they're my rice fields. I owe 2,000 square meters of these. My father used to take care of them before. Now he's given them to me, and I built my house in the middle of them. I'm a fisherman, but in the backwaters we also live thanks to agriculture. That's how we live. All right, let's cross. Watch out though, the raft isn't stable.
On this tiny islet, located right next to the water, Belloi built his house by himself. He lives here together with about 10 other people on a plot of barely 40 meters square.
This is a pukalam. We make this flower carpet for Onam, the harvest festival that will take place in 3 days. It's tradition.
Onam, the harvest festival, is quite popular. Every year, every community joins in. Muslims, Hindus and Christians gather to celebrate Onam and party. This is a very old celebration. It is related to a legend and commemorates the spiritual visit of Kerala's ancient king, Mahabali.
Jinoi and his family are Christians, but just like every other Malayali, they honor King Mahabali, who watches over their happiness and prosperity. This is a good day for Jinoi. He's going to meet the carpenter.
This boat I'm having built is my first boat. My brothers and I have always rented boats for our activities. It's been 10 years, and I've had to save up $650 during all this time. An entire life of labour. But that's a fisherman's life around here. Here's the boat. When will you be done, Subhash?
I'll be done soon. I still have to adjust the floor and grease the hull with some fish oil and coal slurry.
This is a rope made from coconut fibres. It's very strong. It works perfectly as a tie. This is wild jackfruit wood. That's the best, but we sometimes also use Indian laurel. Jackfruit wood is the most sturdy one.
The Malayali carpenters put together boats without nails or screws. The hull is sewn together using coconut fibres and roots. The method is ancient, with the oldest examples dating back to antiquity. Ketuvallums are built to navigate the backwaters canals. The biggest ones can be up to 30 meters long. Nowadays, sewn boats are being replaced by plastic fiber hulls, but ketuvallums remain a central element in the Malayalis' culture and history. Jinoi is now going to the Pampa River, where the last training session before the snake boat race is taking place.
This training is necessary to win the race. Every village participates, and they all have their own boat. There are different categories, chundans being the biggest ones. They can take up to 100 rowers. This is the most prestigious category. My son Satish might be on this one.
The snake boat race reminds us of the Malayalis' warring past. During the 16th century, conflicts between the Kerala kings were settled on water. Thousands of warriors would fight to the death on such boats on the backwaters canals. Nowadays, the struggle isn't as bloody, but each village's fame and prestige is at play.
The chundan can be up to 50 meters long and carry 110 people, including 90 rowers. The strongest are placed at the front. Standing in the middle are helmsmen, they get the beat going, and behind are the skippers. Just 10 years ago, I was participating in these boat races. Well, I'm too old now. I can't anymore. So I come to support my son. I join every single one of his training sessions. It's important, and it motivates him to win tomorrow. Hey, I think this is his boat over here. Come on. Come on, let's go. It's impressive. It's always like this. There's no danger. It doesn't turn upside down. If everyone rows with a beat, the boat remains stable despite the water on board. It doesn't keel over.
Once back at Jinoy's house, we share a meal of fish, rice and vegetables. Everything we eat has been grown or fished by the family members. Money is scarce, but everyone can eat one's fill here.
Hi, guys.
We're going to fish in the lagoon this morning with Jinoy, his son, and 2 cousins. Fishing, just like farming, is done with the family. We're going a couple of kilometers away, to the swamp. Each village has its own fishing area, and the best fishing spots are secrets the fishermen jealously guard.
Fresh water reaches every canal here. That's because near the estuary, the sand acts as a natural barrier between the sea and the lagoon. And so the water from the backwaters doesn't blend with the water from the sea.
And since this is fresh water, there's a lot of vegetation around. That's what attracts fishes, except during the monsoon, since that's when fishes breed. At that time we don't fish much, and only certain fishes, to give them time to grow.
There's vegetation over there. That's where the fishes are. To fish here, we use a method the elders taught us. It's called udekuvala, which means sorting net. We surround the area with a net, and then we attach it underwater. The fish are then trapped, and we have time to remove the plants to go pick them up. Put it back a bit. All right, the net's placed. We'll attach each end to the shore.
Fold back the net.
All good. It's attached.
Odekuvala is used at the end of the monsoon, when the lagoon is covered by vegetation. Fish find shelter amongst water plants. They have to be captured by hand, one by one, a difficult and tiring fishing technique.
We already have quite a bit. However, when we're done putting away our net, we'll have many more.
Jinoy is happy. The fishing has been good. The fish is carefully sorted. The best catch will be sold on the market. The rest will be eaten by the family. In the morning, we're heading to Shanganassery, about 20 kilometers away from Jinoy's home. For once, the journey isn't done by boat, but by tuk-tuk. The great fish market takes place in this town. Buyers come from every big city in Kerala.
Watch out! Watch out! Come on, almost there. Make way, please. Move aside, wait, make way. Rajesh, what was the price for this kind of fish?
$4.
Okay, works for me. What about these?
60 cents.
60 cents.
The man counting the bills is the head of sales. He decides the fish price. Since the price is fixed, fishermen don't compete with each other, and so everyone gets a good price.
Fresh fish! Come, come, not many left. Hurry up and buy the last ones. Sales were good today. Well, we have good results.
All of a sudden, the market noise is covered by the piercing sound of whistles. Further away on the river, the helmsmen beat the tempo, followed by the oars hitting the gunwales. The snakeboat race has already started, carrying with it the audience's cheers. In just a few minutes, Satish will start paddling, following the Vinkipatu, the helmsman's song. Two boats of similar size face each other during the competition. They try to win by relying on a coordinated crew working together. Reaching such a level of accuracy in each gesture demands hundreds of hours of training. Each challenge is an opportunity to test the power of a crew held together by their willingness to win. Despite his best efforts, Satish didn't win the race. But it doesn't matter. Next year, just like every year for the last 400 years, the snake boats will race again, and he'll be given another opportunity to win. Never give up, persevere. These are the values Jinoi applies to himself. His dream has finally come true. His Katuvalam is ready.
I don't know what to say. That my boat is finally ready. It's like a dream come true. It's truly an achievement in my life. I'm so happy.
Before assuming ownership of his boat, Jinoi must thank the gods and ask for their protection. Once the ritual is over, it's time to launch the boat. The birth of a new boat is always a special event for the people living in Kerala. To own their own boat is much more than a dream for Jinoi and his family. It means freedom. The freedom to be able to live in the lagoon, to be part of this people connecting land and sea. The violent sea and the storms in Kerala can be scary, and they led people to move to the lagoons. But a couple of thousand kilometers away, on the Timor coast, the ocean has granted a community of women an opportunity to claim their place in a society traditionally dominated by men. Agriculture and farming have been the main source of food for people living on the highlands of Atoro Island, far above the sea level. Yet one day, the green slopes turned into drylands. A group of women decided then to go to the sea and to dive into it to find new resources. The men left on the shore gave them the name of Wawata Topu, the fish women.
When you see a fish underwater, get closer slowly and without sudden moves. You have to be like a fish and try to go deeper down like us.
Angelita and Sarah are barely 20. They introduce themselves as best friends, but see each other as sisters. They learnt to dive at the same time as they learnt to walk and talk. They live along a shore lined with a narrow but lush lagoon. Wawata Topu doesn't need to go beyond the reef, since the warm and shallow waters are full of fish. "25 kilometers in length and 9 kilometers wide, Atoro is an island off the coast of another island deep within the Indonesian archipelago. It belongs to East Timor, the youngest country in Asia. It has fought for almost 3 centuries for its independence, first against Portugal, then against Indonesia. Isolated on the west coastline, Adara village is home to about 100 people, out of the 8,000 living on this island. After several hours spent in the water, the divers warm themselves near the fire and on the burning sand.
Diving is all our life. We dive to feed ourselves. It's vital. We're doing what the elders taught us.
This place is unique on the island. We call it Tarabundu. It's a garden under the sea. The reef here is very close to the shore. The lagoon is narrow and brings us everything we need. Fish, octopus, shellfish. The sea is bountiful with us. We just have to go a bit underwater and we can get what we need.
This garden under the sea is also a garden hanging over the oceanic trench. Indeed, right on the other side of the reef, the slope goes down several kilometers deep, thus regularly supplying the small lagoon with more than 300 species of fish.
Hello. Hi. Fishing was good?
Very good, yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Ludovic is inside.
Only women dive in Adara. Men fish from pirogues or are busy on dry land. Family is the backbone of the community here, and anything caught during the fishing will be shared amongst everyone, just like with any other thing. Angelita lives together with her brother, Ezekiel, and her sister-in-law, Luida.
I'm glad, because we'll be able to sell a lot on the market with all this in a couple of days when everything is dry.
Yes, that's good news.
And we'll keep this one for dinner.
We're very isolated here. There's no electricity. So we dry everything. It's very important. It's the only solution we have to preserve the food.
And it's the only way to sell it on the market. Everything we sell is dried.
And here's some good grilled fish.
We all live together, brothers, sisters. We take care of each other. Family meals are a part of life here.
I dive and bring fish back every day for my family. I'm proud of it.
Hunting is what we're best at. And it's the only way to earn money and to provide for our family.
When morning arrives on the village's streets, the tide is low. Fishing isn't an option then, so women focus on cultivating the land.
We must go get food for the pigs. We have to gather these green leaves here. The only things growing here are a couple of leaves we use to feed pigs. Everything has been dried like this for years. There's less and less rain. So, little by little, we gave up on the gardens. The land gives us almost nothing. Fortunately, a couple of years ago, women started to dive. And thanks to them, we have food. It works really well, and we're the ones making this. We can find modern tools in town, but they're expensive.
At the time Wawata Topu women got closer to the sea to gather the resources they needed, the village's grandmothers were young women. Today, they remember the time when they were divers.
We, women, started to dive because during this time there was nothing left to eat. It was very tough. People suffered. So we started to dive to be able to eat. I was among the first divers. We were the ones teaching our daughters how to dive. And now, thanks to us, they have a great life. They're bathing the whole day long. In the beginning, we barely knew how to swim. But we had to go. There was no choice. Our survival lay there, in the sea. Thanks to us, women gained greater respect than before.
Widya is not 10 yet. She's the youngest diver in Adara, the symbol of the new generation.
Widya, before you go, I have something for you. It's a present. You'll be able to dive properly with this.
Thank you, thank you.
The plastic mask offered to Widya is an exception. Wawata Topu use the resources surrounding them to build by themselves their fishing and diving tools. However, once a week, women leave behind the men and children and go to the nearest village.
We need to get to the other side of the mountain now. It's a 3-hour walk.
Every Saturday, just as the sun rises, Adara women go on the same journey, their baskets full of the fish caught during the week.
There's no road to get to our village. We're living a bit alone, away from the other villages. It wasn't like that before. My grandmother told me that before, people used to live on the land. They were shepherds. But everything is dry now. And our families went down to the sea on this side of the mountain. And that's how we ended up away from everything.
Oh Jesus, atuduha dan aroma, abu katulungi, my husi los nebe.
After a 9-kilometer walk, we finally reach Belloi. Its market is the only one on the island and has been bustling for several hours already. Inhabitants of every village in the area gather there to buy and sell fruit and vegetables, imported goods, or part of their fish, just like the Wawata Topu.
All right, let's settle here.
A couple of branches found on the spot are enough to set up their stall.
Come on, hurry up. Hello.
Hello.
What do you need?
Some fish and a squid.
$5, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, and thank you. This is the land of my ancestors. My sisters and I are happy here. And thanks to the sea, we feel free.
After selling all the fish, the women start walking back before the night comes. The few dollars they've earned will help them buy some additional food to diversify their diet. This journey is a lot of effort for small gains, but it doesn't matter. Wawata Topu are attached to their lifestyle.
Look how beautiful the sea is.
In Adara lives a clan of women united by and for the sea. Generations after generations, they managed to find their refuge and their salvation just a few meters under the surface of the ocean. That's how they'll write the future of their community, whilst telling their own story. We're now heading north to meet with a people at one with the sea. Badajos have been nomads for many years, but they are now settled along the Indonesian, Malaysian and Philippine coasts. About 500,000 of them live near the ocean, in houses on stilts, leaving behind their lepa, the houseboat. Gathered in small villages installed on the Estran, the Badajos continue to link their fate to the ocean, even though they are no longer nomads. The ocean that feeds them and shelters them, bringing the resources they need for such a life, balances over the water and in harmony with its surroundings. Lauda, his father Taudil and his son Audi are going to their village. Located on the southeast of Sulawesi in Indonesia, On Kadalupa Island, in the heart of the Wakatobi archipelago, Sempela was created in the 1960s by the Indonesian government in order to settle the Badajo families living along the coasts of this archipelago. Today, just like Lauda and his family, about 1,000 of them have settled down in the village. Sempela, with its wooden walkways and unstable houses, is typical of this kind of village. Even Lauda himself has a hard time evaluating how many there are.
I can't tell for sure, but I think there's at least a dozen villages on stilts in the archipelago alone. It means a couple of hundred villages at least over the whole Sulawesi. Thousands of people belong to the Badjo community. We're all Badjos. We all speak Badjo.
Sempela village is located 1 kilometre away from the shore, in an area that dries out during low tide. However, during high tide, the village seems to float on the sea. The houses built on stilts are connected to each other, making it easy to contact other families. In this village on the water, one learns to swim before knowing how to walk.
The kids go in the water when they're very young. However, they truly learn how to swim when they're around 10 years old. If you can't swim around here, it can quickly become a problem.
Sempela lives to the beat of the fishing activity, the Badajo's only livelihood. Right next to the houses, or a bit further away from the village, an endless stream of pirogues can be seen, throwing and bringing up their nets. Lauda, however, is an Apnea fisherman, just like his father was. Only a handful of them continue this ancient tradition. The techniques are passed down from generation to generation, like a secret jealously guarded.
You drop it in the water. You drag it around like this, and the octopus thinks it's a friend. So it gets closer and bam! You harpoon it.
A wild shrimp. That's a good bait. We can catch crabs with this.
The Badajos believe the ocean is home to many gods. They are the ones deciding whether the fishing will be good or bad. In order to attract their benevolence, it's a good idea to speak with the shaman, the middleman between men and gods.
I have a service to ask from you. I'd like good weather on the day I'm leaving. The shaman's important for me. He's the only one who can call upon Bojango to maintain good weather. If it turns bad, we can't fish enough to make a living. Bojanggo is here to help us and prevent something bad from happening. But if we don't keep the promises we make to him, it can turn against us.
Saya percaya sama Bojanggo. Bojanggo buat ambil habo di pasar mentari mau di Bangkalen pun sudah sana minta salam pun apa-apa. Bojanggo buat ambil habo di pasar mentari mau di Bangkalen pun sudah sana minta salam pun apa-apa.
It's a habit of mine to make an offering to Bojanggo because I believe in the spirits of the sea. They look after us, they protect us from illness, they heal us when we're in pain or have a headache. I go see Bojanggo for all of this. To be a Badjo is to be a man of the sea. I can't live without it, or away from it. It's different from people living on dry land. They're not like us. They don't work on the sea. They don't have the same relationship with the ocean. You can shoot all kinds of fishes with this gun, but especially the ones living among corals. They're hard to catch with nets, but when I dive, I can go where regular fishermen can't. It's an advantage.
The Badajos honor the ocean that feeds and protects them, a free space shared by everyone, without fences or title deeds. To find food, one has only but to dive in areas full of fish, often located near the coral reef surrounding the archipelago. The turquoise water contains an incredible number of multicolored fish. Almost 3,500 species come to find shelter in this warm and shallow area. The environmental impact of Badajo fishermen is limited. They only fish what they need to survive. They free dive, following ancient techniques passed down from generation to generation. Thanks to this, some members of the community, such as Lauda, are able to go down deeply for several minutes.
It's all about the legs trick. If you want to go down properly, you have to make circular movements, like pedaling and pushing with your legs at the same time. I usually dive up to 22 meters deep. I can stay underwater up to 5 minutes, but it's difficult to hold my breath for so long. In our community, I'm seen as a good fisherman. Not all Badjos are able to stay underwater for such a long time. My father was pretty good at it. I hope one day my son will be a good fisherman too.
Lauda continues to dive, whilst his son and father watch over him. He's gathering the fish he needs to feed his family. As the day ends, it's time to head back home. Lauda doesn't need a map or compass. He knows every nook and cranny of the coast, the long shape of a creek, the shape of a hill, or the color of the seabed are his landmarks. Sometimes he leaves the village for several days, hoping for a good catch. But even if he goes away from the village, his knowledge of the coast allows him to always find the way home.
Good job, boys. It's a good catch.
Most of today's catch is shared amongst family and friends. The rest will be sold on the market. The village women take care of that. The market is located on the big island in front of Sempella. It's one of the few opportunities Badajos have to meet people from the land. Lauder thinks both populations are on good terms, but the villagers still perceive the Badajos as nomads, as sea gypsies. On the market, the fish is sold from bottom to top, from the boats to the docks, people from the land dominating people from the sea. A symbol, perhaps? Another characteristic? Only women come.
This is no job for a man. Men fish and women sell what they bring back. And that's a good thing too, since they're not very skilled with money. Accounting is more a girl thing. Then we use the money from the sales to purchase rice, bananas and coconuts to cook.
Although the Badajos still move around to fish, their sedentary life puts a limit on their freedom of yaw. The houses on stilts are like boats standing still. That allows them to keep alive the deep connection they have with the ocean. Their nomadic life is now a fading memory that only the village elders still remember.
Once upon a time, we used to live on boats. Life was much tougher then. Finding something to eat wasn't easy. We followed the fish to be able to eat. We knew where they were, but sometimes we were wrong. And so we had nothing left to eat. It's different today. You can always find something to eat. It's not something you're constantly obsessed about. You find fish everywhere. On the market, your neighbors give you some. I honestly wouldn't wish for anyone to go back to that time. Life is much better today.
By settling down, the Badajos have improved their life conditions. Even the strong rains that come without warning are easier to deal with when living in houses rather than on boats. Located a couple of degrees south of the equator, Sempella adapts its rhythms to the sudden and violent storms. But rain isn't a disaster here, rather a moment to rest. The villagers gather inside the houses to take shelter. Every generation joins in. This moment of peace is an opportunity to relax and talk with the family. The women cook. They prepare the fish for everyone. Privacy doesn't really exist in Badajo houses. They all live together, in a place shaken by the wind and with a floor open to the sea.
This floor is really handy. We can just throw away peelings and fish leftovers. It's easy to clean. And it's also a way for us to feel the sea. Freedom is very important for us. Even though we're living in a village, we feel like nomads. We can leave everything behind and go out at sea. We're happy to live in houses, but if we have to leave Sempella tomorrow, that won't be an issue. That's what it means to be a Badjo, to feel free.
Living with the Badajos in Sempella is an opportunity to discover a people passionate about the sea. They are ready to make any sacrifice to maintain their connection with it. Their willingness to build their future together with the ocean around them is admirable. From India to Timor, through Indonesia, some people fight for a better life, trying to use everything the sea has to offer. There are the female divers, proud to have brought hope back to their people. Ginoi, and his joy to finally be able to have his own boats after years of effort. And finally, the noble Badajos, whose houses seem to ride the waves.